Dongwe Doji Jajar Zon Ron, Jinja Mato Doja Bonjon Ba, Serja Lombo, Tabra Jebe, Shakja Jabu Jod, Gujon Zoi, Dorjin Janjin, Delo Naro Dam, Maba Mala, Jija Gampopa, Bamo Driba Javan Dogongba, Kaju Lama Nanje Da Jonje. Nanda Zara Damje de Lama Laba Laya Jizo Song, La Song Yong Den Jam Song Ala Wan, Dendra Dong Jen Rebe Gele So. Dage Lo Jizo Robar Jinja Labdo So, Jia Lam Don Robar Jinja Labdo So, Lan Truba Sebar Jinja Labdo So. Truba Yizan Jawar Jinja Labdo So. Gangan Den Jen Jawaran Jong, Gaba Me Ba Je, Me Ba Jiba Me Ba Ta, Me Ba Wa, Me Ba Ro, Me Ba. Da de dume dunje me dribanye je je damba zoba zanje mananje tamba de la janza de denje zava lama je je gozon do je jala da 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 ge je la be de da ge de ma dan zun je je don ja jen bon da bar zun je la de zo Ganda zoje dongen je na de je lomra je ba gan zan da tendra tambe che je jan be be simra do ma tam je ndre je namo la e ga da lo da na jin ga dun da da me ga na da ro gun je ra ge je zan ba tam je ge da ge je de an do nang ga da nyam be sim jin tam je tin de la na me ba yang da bo zu ba san je je ko ma rum bo je to par sha ti chi de tam be ju kan ki sin de do nyam sa la ma je wo nyam be cham ba san ju ju de sen ji ba dang chu nin be kun long da kun ju ma na ro go ne sim ban char de ne de la kan sim par sa be chu ne 다 들은 거랑 저게 해야 돼. 전에 체질 루지 롱버 저 상제베 집심 말아봐. 대니지 독세 개바다 트보 왕보 전에 자와카 주바게 전에 팀버 짜와다 dane je Gampopa dani jinze pe lamcho ren chin chwa de hyo ba ka re dane de la terrain de nyam sa langwar sa chu je yo banang ke je pa de re sha
So today, continuing with these instructions from the great master of the Kagyu tradition, the great, very learned and accomplished master who was the heart son of Jetsun Milarepa, and a jewel of the Kagyu lineage, and in particular focusing on these teachings which comprise the precious Garland of the Supreme Path, which is like one of the main roots of the Kagyu collection of Kagyu teachings or teachings of the great Kagyu masters. And so we are in the category of the 10 things to be practiced, and then within that we are on number 8.
Oh yeah, that nita de la chanchup cho de semji ne random meji par jibji yindon de nyamsalang song ta chetang chanchuk sem chipade yin rang ke yin ke dong kona la samya ke samno ji cha de yore tenda yin zang teni ngaran so ke chirtang nga chong jikting khowa ba yin chang randung kar chimbo cha de yo ba tang teni randung te kar chimbo tsike yo ba re yin yang teni dara ngaran so tambe chu ge to ni samno tong de teni yin simjing tamje zo chimbo yin ba tang teni yin simjing tamje la da de pin ba dang dewa tenda ge kulong je go yo re te yin zang kan de yang teni ngarang zo ge jiangqiu sen bu dong ba lang ni zong de teni ti dong ba de ngarang zo ju la ding go yo na teni yin simjing tamje lu ma dong wa teni yin simjing tamje la lu da nga yi sum ju go ne gang tu tu ge pin to ji ba de cha de yo re tenda ji ba yi na teni ngarang zo la de jiangqiu sen bu dong ba de da de ne ge yo ba re
So with number 8, as it says, having generated the bodhichitta, or supreme awakening, perform all practice for the benefit of others by giving up your own selfishness. Not focusing on one's own benefit, but practicing with the intention, solely with the intention to bring about the benefit and others, only with the thought of benefiting others in mind, is the way to maintain practice that is infused with, or which upholds the vows of bodhicitta. Since we are samsaric beings in the world, or as samsaric beings in the world, the majority of the time, beings are focused on their own welfare and benefit. So for ordinary beings, this becomes sort of their central priority, is that the focus is on oneself. The habit is to hold most importance when it comes to, or to regard our own purpose and benefit with the most interest and the greatest importance. But from the perspective of Dharma, it is the opposite. From the perspective of Dharma, then it is of much greater importance to focus on the welfare, achieving the welfare and benefit of others, the welfare and benefit of sentient beings. So the benefit and happiness of sentient beings becomes our priority, or our main objective. From the time that we take the bodhisattva vows and onward, then the ongoing or continual practice is to always put others first, to always put the welfare and benefit of others first, and to never abandon even a single sentient being. So to whatever extent that we are able to strive to achieve the benefit and welfare of others, is the method for always holding the commitment, the bodhicitta commitment that we have taken.
Ta jancho ke sem de la kunzup jancho ke sem dang dondam jancho ke sem ni yo ba yin du teni ngarang zo ke tata lo jang sa de kunzup jancho ke sem to la lo jang go yo re junsin kang re shu ba yin na ngarang zo tara kunzup ke nang wa dada ke nga zo la kang nga mang bo te ke yo re te indu ngarang zo ke sanje ke ningbo dekhi ningbo la ro de ang kunzup ke chu nam to ke chu to so ke drip de yo ba yin zang to so pa jang war si jang ne zang ma zo go yo na Tene janchok sem rambochi ti tone zama zogo yore. Tene janchok sem de la teke zama de kandabi zogo yore sendu tene tela ropa chinkin de shirap chada yore. Tene tendu janchok sem dang shirap ni chikla chikting ke pinsun ropa che de tene nyamli nango yore. Tendu ngaranzo kunzop ke tola lojang soso ke ndrobo kapsa ndopo kapsa savo kapsa nyarbo kapsa ya ni sepe kapsa to da namba kundo tene kunzup janchok semla mikpa te ne tinhi maingba jena gomna ne ya chodo chirba te chado yore tendu
And so when it comes to bodhicitta, there are the two types or the two categories. There's the relative bodhicitta and the ultimate bodhicitta. As we train in first developing the relative bodhicitta. And so the reason for this is because it is from the perspective of the relative appearances that create the problems or which is actually that which manifests as obscuration or that which obscures their true nature. So the true nature is only obscured from the relative perspective. The bodhicitta, or the essence of Buddhahood, is obscured by the relative phenomenal experiences of discursive thoughts and afflictive emotions. And so in order to purify or clear away these obscurations, then we must train in the relative bodhicitta. And the way in which bodhicitta clears away the obscurations, so it naturally purifies the obscurations through diminishing the obscuration of self-grasping, and it is assisted by the help of wisdom. So wisdom must go hand in hand with the training in relative bodhicitta. And so in this way, wisdom and bodhicitta are like companions that strengthen and assist one another. So in dependence upon one another, the quality of the other also increases and grows. As one engages in the relative activities of walking, whether the four postures of walking and sitting, eating, and lying down, then at all times to maintain mindful awareness, to avoid becoming distracted, and to maintain mindful awareness with regard to sustaining and always working to cultivate the precious mind of bodhicitta.
Then janchok sem de la janchok sem rinpoche je de da go be jumsin kan ri shu ba ina. Then ngarang zo pe kha dang top dang de zo nu ba gang ge yang ro ba ji ma ta ba then janchok sem khona la tin then ha ko ta bya de da don dang ge dim ba ne lok de wa te ha ko ate janchok sem ra le yu zang janchok sem rinpoche ta ba re te ga na yi ge man nang kha da nyam sim jin tam je la ne ka phim pan thar thu dewa ne ka la phim pa thar thu la dewa te yang ngarang so ka che ge jon jor wa to nga thang yu na ya man nang kha da nyam sim jin tam je la phin thao zo je de ka le kha bo re ina yang su su ge ju ge janchok sem de ge 되는 타입의 심진 탐제라 핀토크 요리 된다 인상 장초크 선은 뭐지 스타바리스
So the reason why we call it precious bodhicitta is because it really and truly is more precious than anything that can be found on this earth, more precious than any amount of wealth, any amount of power, any amount of any degree of position. These really don't ultimately really cause real benefit, but only bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is the only thing that can cause one to realize the true nature of the ultimate truth. And so therefore it is truly precious. It's for that reason that we call it precious. And so it brings about both a temporal or temporary happiness and benefit, as well as the ultimate lasting and unchanging happiness. And so to benefit sentient beings through ordinary efforts or ordinary means, to really be able to benefit all sentient beings as vast as space is vast, would be really difficult, if not impossible. So the only thing that can really benefit limitless sentient beings is a bodhicitta arisen in the mind stream. So through the power of bodhicitta, limitless sentient beings can be benefited.
Tender chanchuk sem te yang, so sem to la tsar jarde, so la chorwa je te ba goji te karchimbore. Ying chorang la chanchuk sem do lam na yang ri, mendo la yon na ri, tela chepar ke yo mare. Churang ke tung betone, so ke chorwa la jarne, tanda chi topwa ina, teni so ya nekap ke mendo be jingi parche, mambo chigle tortop ke yore. Tanda bene teni yongting so tin janjok sem ji yongting tin teni janjok sem lo jang gubat karchimbore. Teni da ngaso jetang janjok sem shibate yingdung ruya ge tap la na mi pare. Teni yingdung katse chimbo drop to ba ina yang teni so randong de hyalan drobyon ran yin kan drobyon ba tanda cha de yore. Perna churang jamso chek na ni pa tren na ro go yo na teni da ti trete ya bo cha sunga ina trete la jinga par je kayang mi na teni churang gro ba chapsang teni jamso ne pa gar to gro wa ti na yin janchok sem de tren na yi cha de yore teni churang jamso ne tren na ro ba kap so churang chi po sam no tan yin da sam no ma tang ba ina teni lakpar te churang ke ti trete la karchimbo matzi sungchab yabo maje na teni churang yang ti jamso te pa garto ko yomare trete la te parche no chungwa ina tete chikbare se janchok sem teni jamso ne pa garzi ka tre na yi chado yore teni tara ngarang zo ka lama gev shini tamche la cha ansar 구바지 대반 줘야 돼야 준신 강라 토리 휴나 공남바게 툭주라 장축 셈데 요장 되네 렌친 장축 셈라 찬살로 송바나 인게 되네 말아서 그 찬살 구협데 란인게 되네 용거요 바레스
So the most important thing is that we cultivate bodhicitta in such a way that we can really feel it. We can feel the presence of this precious mind state in our mind stream, that it really arises in such a way that we have a real feeling. And then if that occurs, it doesn't matter whether other people tell us that we have bodhicitta or we don't have bodhicitta. actually that doesn't matter at all. There's no difference what other people say with regard to what they think about your level of bodhicitta. What really matters is the direct experience that you yourself have, if you can feel it in your mind, and so to cultivate it in such a way that that you really experience the feeling of bodhicitta, that you have, that you know that it is arising, and if that is the case, then all obstacles and adverse circumstances are cleared away, are liberated due to the power of bodhicitta. And so it's important to always reflect upon or remember the qualities of bodhicitta, and to feel inspired to train in the development of bodhicitta. And if we continuously make an effort to train in bodhicitta, then we will be able to accomplish our own and others' limitless benefit. And so, interestingly, it is naturally the case that as much as one accomplishes the benefit of others, or the degree to which one is able to help and benefit others, then one's own benefit is naturally accomplished. It's like a boat. So if you have a boat and you take care of that boat has the ability to take you along with a bunch of other people across the ocean. And so the boat itself is like bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is like a boat. So we have to look after and take proper care of our boat. And then there's no danger that conditions, that are something will go wrong with the boat and we won't make it across the ocean. If we don't take care of our boat, then if we don't look after it, then there could be obstacles and the boat could sink. And then we don't, if we're only thinking of ourselves, then it's quite likely that we won't make it across the ocean. And so in that way, the bodhicitta is like a boat that has to be properly looked after and cared for. And the reason why we honor our spiritual teachers, who we prostrate to them, we have faith and devotion to them, because it is because of the bodhicitta in their mind stream. That is what we are really honoring. That is what we are really prostrating to, is this precious and supreme mind.
Teni ta gopate nga ji domba hip kabrindo nga ji gor shong ne gosum tamar de meja par jinker son de nyams lang song ta ngaran so sangha nyams lindu sangha tarate sangha jinren pusum so songdo Sangha jinren punson so sonde kantar sangha hibate tanang lamji chadu yori te ndu sangha je kapsu yin la tanang jama te karchimbo zand maze susu ke lu nga yi sangha la teni tanang jango yori se tamar de ma yane teni te jangdang rawo te susu lu de la yu gui ran yin yinba la yinbar ha go gwa tang nga de teni la yu song am yamana nga ke ran yin da tham che nga ke ran yin song do da se tham che nga ke ran yin teni dindo zo de ta so so ke sam no tham che teni ting yin zin Chirtang ta jinkur som sipadalan jahe mambo yorite tara lu hlai jinkur nga jinkur teni yi lamnari tok tingin zing jinkur se ta teta botone mi pa jango yobares
And so then number 9 is, having entered the world of Tantra, do not indulge your 3 gates in ordinary works. Practice about the 3 mandalas. So actually, it's probably more like practice maintaining the 3 mandalas, I would say. In the context of Tantra, when we practice secret mantra, we practice the generation stage, and so on, and mostly the practice of secret mantra is maintained through developing and sustaining pure view. So pure view is very important with regard to the practice of secret mantra. And not only is it important to maintain a pure view with respect to outer appearances or others, but it is also very important to maintain pure view with respect to oneself. So pure view with how we regard the body, speech, and mind. So not falling into ordinary grasping at the body, speech, and mind as ordinary, but seeing it as the pure enlightened display of the deity. So identifying with our body as the divine form of the Yidam, and that is actually recognizing it as it actually is, seeing it for what it truly is. And likewise, the speech is regarded as the pure sound of mantra, the empty echo or sound of mantra. And all of the thoughts and reflections that arise in the mind are meditative absorption. And so these are the 3 mandalas. This is what is being, actually there are many different ways to explain what the mandalas, or here are the 3 mandalas, but mainly we can think of it as the mandala of a body as the Yidam deity, speech as mantra, and mind as meditative absorption.
Yang dara yet zabjunkur. Deni lam tap dara de dunsun la sobok junkur. Deni ndrev tingin zing junkur song tanda songkayore.
Kumta de lam tap kare?
Lam sunzi dunsun ngaso dunsun de jema la sobok junkur jingdoa. Dunsun lad.
That's all. Okay. So also, these 3 mandalas could also be described as the path, the ground as the root mandala, the path as the mandala of method, and in particular, actually here, the colored sand mandala, and the fruition as meditative absorption.
Tene yang pen na za dang long dang tigli som la jarwa ina. Tene za yi shi trawa si, de yi shi trawa trapsi yoa, yi shi trawa. Tene long rinqin wong cho si. Te rumboche pen na dorje palam te son da wu karsi marjan cho yongro te ke long rinqin wong cho. Tene tigli de la dechin jamso si. Tene ko tigli de dewa chenpo ke jamso ta na yin cha do yo zang yang chin tanda ta ne yong ko yo re.
Also, it could be the 3 mandalas can be described in the context of the channels, winds, and drops, as with regard to the channels, the web of primordial wisdom, or the net of primordial wisdom. With respect to the winds, the radiance of the precious radiance, or the radiating light rays, like a diamond that sends out many different light rays. And with respect to the drops, the ocean of great bliss.
Oh yeah. Tinida Jubat Yumbut dus Domi Samta Makorwea Hini Dampe Shabron the Katup Nyams Lango song. Ta Yumbut dus Lam the Jirdan Lo Gimba Yumba Sama Naranzo Chegoala Legend Chen Chegoala Yorwa Yumba Inaya Mixakchi Hia Mejondo Kemare. The Yina Yanda, Naranzo Yumba to Chetan can Namto so Huk Cherry, the Nigga Yandro, Mandro, Mambo Gonan Harava, then it and I do that Tunda Misala, then Yama Mambo Juk Devina, Sosoke, Pecha Zoji, then it Jin Parche Maya and Romas Madoa. Yine Yanda Yumba to say young son no Ripat, so there's a Dronga. Yore Diligence in Latin ta che lama give hin dan dun dog de tani ko chu danga minga thamje shane tanda gogori sonre tani karsi ngarang so yaman sacha yin da yin la pepa yin ya chi royor chu gewa den royor do yor son tani ko yang yin la pin to ya le ga ndo le Tene Neza Chimbo to Sola Yang, Goran or Chata Goran Nan Tanatamnan Yapori. Te Mato get the gods and Chamma de Bajene, Dani Lama Givishin in Don and Done, Ta Rablin and Ben Jutsim Malaria pa Marpa Latin Bana Yin Katop Jet. Tene te Marina and Sosoke Cantop Jeto, Keko Lama Givishin Laya Dene, Unetra Neke, Rumbo Check Terna Yinri. Teni soso te rumbo cheke ter ken ramla yu yindo teni soso ke te rumbo cheke ter na chek matha ba yina teni pe phangbor shwerewa tanda samno tangne teni nima re yindo che chugewa la teni bezor kato nangwaris.
So then number 10 says, in your youth, do not wander meaninglessly, but practice the Dharma in the presence of a holy teacher. So it is generally thought that the tendency or kind of the propensity for getting distracted and sort of wandering aimlessly is more or something that tends to happen for many in their youth. So of course it isn't like always the case. There's not some law, that makes it always this way. But it does tend to be that often it is the case that in our youth we have a more sort of attachment to course concepts. There's a more of a sense of wanting to wander and roam, and there's a kind of a busyness of going here and there and so forth, or one might get really easily enchanted with worldly endeavors such as wanting to make a lot of money and so forth, and when this happens, then there's also the potential for conditions and obstacles to arise, which would end up really hindering one's ability to practice Dharma later on. And so it is really here the advice is that in the prime of one's youth, it is important not to become distracted in such a way that one is sort of wandering aimlessly or traveling just for the heck of it and so forth, but that one should really stay close to a spiritual teacher and receive pith instructions and practice sincerely. If it is the case that one wanders about, that one travels, then it is important to do so in a way that brings one's activities into the practice of Dharma, so that one is accumulating virtue, that one should direct one's travels and activities in such a way that one is benefiting others, and to make an effort to engage in the activities of pilgrimage and such, or making prostrations and circumambulations, and not just sort of aimless distraction or aimless wandering. The best example is to be a student like Milarepa, to follow the example of Milarepa and Marpa. But even if that is not the case, to follow a spiritual teacher, to stay near to a spiritual teacher, and to regard them as a precious treasure. If it is the case that in the prime of one's youth, one is around the spiritual teachers, and one doesn't recognize the preciousness of the situation, then it's like, leaving an island of jewels empty-handed. So it is important not to lose the opportunity when it is there, and to really regard one's spiritual teacher as precious, and to make an effort to receive the teachings, and to make a great effort to practice his fifth instructions.
Nyamslang with chucho de dramneta, nintin the chabi chucho song terwa. Then it tell da le tangbo be to some la nintin ja, so that nintin shiba de zundu la go yorwa. That do then chetang around so to some shiba de tambo tuba de karchimbori sonre. Tara naro bak sondoa. Namba inba da mayin pe chu tamje la tuba ji gor sondwa yang mana namba ina ya namba ke ringe na nandon rigba tang teni te mayin ba ke ta ringe chupra mambo yorwa te chama la tuba ji gori song teni kong ke song de tuba ji ba ina teni gwa la ya de lugri song do gwa teni gwa de lendu teni soso ke ja karzo te yina mina nyambe te chom de chu je to gori sondwa te chom de je so yina teni choram chu drum de je norsa dang chursa den ra mi ba lam cho de bari sondwa mar naro bag te da ba dambo tu ba de garchim boris
Gongta gupa sena the tupa chena gupa lepkere gupa sena gupa like gukor or like mupa dang mugu draw deppa
mugu ka da ne lap sen
gupa
goa
mare gupa la imbe
goa la ti ke ha kwa ra ha kwa gongda
la so teni goa no nga gongda teni goa la teni goa yana teni detsom la gere la imbe teni detsom yang ya
대첨 제 no gris 대첨 미바 차 gris ha kon 대첨 미 차그라 pen nga nge ma jing ngo hina teni ma ngo hi tsi ma te yina mi nyam ba 대첨 용거 말와
that's all. So then the next section are the 10 things to be emphasized. And so with regard to the 10 things that to be emphasized, so this emphasize also is a similar word to what is meant through like diligence. So at the very beginning, it says, number 1, at the very beginning, the practitioner should emphasize hearing and the analysis of Dharma. So in the beginning, it is especially important to make an effort in, or to have diligence in the practice of within the three of study or hearing, contemplation, and meditation, to really focus on quite a lot on study or hearing. And as Naropa has said, both Buddhists and non-Buddhists engage in vast, or must engage in hearing, or is the process of study. So even on the non-Buddhist topics, such as the sciences and other areas of education, this requires a great deal of study or study or listening to really become knowledgeable in a particular area, to develop real understanding. And if we engage in a great deal of study, then some real familiarity, some sense of real understanding will develop. And when there is real understanding, then this cuts through doubt. As long as there's not study or there's not understanding, then there's always but when we really have become holy, then we really understand, and we become free of any doubt. Just like becoming really actually meeting someone or recognizing someone, and being certain about who it is that you recognize, then there's no longer any ambiguity, like is that person or is it not?
Dharmakaya. Oh yeah. Then that tuba la de miship mbasa drume na yiri song. Tehana yin ke tuba de then soso la samsa kangan te tandari du soso la tropo ya po ji una te ke roba ji ke wa tin na yiri song. Yin yang tuba ji po ken dang ke yorwe sina de tin tin dang ke yomare. Tuba ji so Nandung ha go go at Garchimbori. Nandung ha go at Zamge Nandung ha go at the last Jatang Samba, Hyondoa to some zone Samba. Then in Nando ha gone ya yabaina Perna Samajina Saju imba ha gone Mazuna the Trugo Jagmarva. Then I yinke ta Nyamslingo gray song. The la new was.
So it is said that to study is like to study or hearing becomes like a lamp which illuminates the unknown. So it is the lamp that illuminates the unknown, or that which wasn't known before or understood. And so samsam kanga ropa yapo ropa chena kunta.
Sometimes sosola kangan tedu tropo zambo jiuna kong roba naro jigris ti yindo sosola kangan tedu sem lusemla yang tupake ping togorwa.
So hearing, actually study can become like a trusted friend or a trusted companion. So a trusted friend, when one is in a time of need, one can call upon the help of a trusted friend, and that friend will help one. So in the same way, the hearing can be like a trusted friend, and so. but in hearing or in listening, we must develop understanding of the inner meaning. This is very important. So once the inner meaning is really understood through contemplation, so we develop or we gain knowledge and understanding through hearing or study, and then we really develop deeper understanding of the inner meaning through contemplation. But even just contemplation alone is not enough. We have to actually practice. And so it's like if there is a really nutritious and delicious food, we have to actually eat it or ingest it in order for our belly to be filled. So in that way, then we have to take this step further by actually experiencing it through practice.
다 냠뇽 거데 돈신이바나니 송근도 냠뇽 지네 곰드럽라니 딘자 송 단용와 라야데 양코 람세 제용하다고지 로버 제용하다고지 다 담보 마곰버갑스 베능아란 저 소소삼노 자와나지 닝제라고 당 잠반라고 저서체 진라고 던 트렌드 체 로버 제용하다 용거요로와 참말라 당아초 대잠게 오 나라 초아지송 삼네 초히마제 바르치 양능아는 냠도 지송 초히마제 베체네 무트네 공고그리스 텔란 소소라 로버라고 대 초아지 지용바텔라 나총 지저요 말에 대 가르침 보시오 차대요레 송자 말아레 박 송도아 차자 침보 곰드서스 차자 침보 곰드 되니 충 양양 곰 성도와 말아래박 때빼 메시바게 다저거 나랑 좋게 곰자 안돼 다 곰팔던 로야 틴단다 저거 람는 로고 요는 마도게 되니 다 간자 간터 데 조반 직tin 순공 게 란록라 찍차르바즈네 요 말이다 차마 림지와 인두 렘베 저거 요는 마도게 lower the 고 이용스도 봐 가선 코와니 고 저터가 연말에 고이 데라 인장 렘지 저거 요바이장 되니 된다 그 냠뇽데 되니 문투네 공고를 송래
So then, the next, then with regard to putting it into practice, this is addressed then by the second of these things to be emphasized, where it says the practice of meditation done with experience should be emphasized to more risen practice. So what is meant here is that we need to practice meditation and accomplishment is developed in sort of progressive stages, and so little by little. One can't expect just instantaneous accomplishment to arise. So first, there have to be the conditions developed through study and contemplation, and then stage by stage, step by step, one engages in the practice through meditation, and this practice is sustained continuously. So it becomes like an ongoing, continuous stream of practice that gradually builds in momentum. And as Milarepa himself has said, Mahamudra, when meditating on Mahamudra, one does so in sort of the chungu chungu, like a little by, or one gradually develops Mahamudra, meditating little by little or in progressive stages. And so this requires again and again, coming back to the practice again and again. And it is only in that way that then it deepens and develops or increases in one's meditation. So likewise, Lord Jigten Sumgön said, there really is only such a thing as a practitioner who develops in progressive stages, that actually there isn't really any such thing as an instantaneous realizer. Even an instantaneous realizer experiences development in progressive stages. And so that is, especially in this tradition, it is emphasized that one develop meditation by progressing step by step through the sequential stages in the path, and in progressive stages. One can't expect to instantaneously, have a high level of understanding and realization, to immediately, just through a little bit of effort, become freed from the three realms of samsara. It takes ongoing, continuous dedication to practice.
Manjur Ningman Keta Yigongra Dan Molam Tandana Lokoyore Toder Tunyam Indam Buddhin Sone. That so in a young that Kantar the so young Gaheke Chicharwal, Chichar the Torsumari son and the Hit Nankin Yorite. Tajoban Jitin Sungong Ranlola. Chicharwa zone tini sigmaris, Tsama Remchiwari. Remchiwa Nangna ko Tapo in a Rempe Dronkin Jekdang, then in Jobo la Tortunkin Nio Bananke, Ta Indra but the Soyena, then in Jobo Remchipa Imbadla, Jobo Tortunki, Tanala Yihidoa.
So in some of the Nyingma aspiration prayers, it says simultaneous total liberation or leaping a simultaneous or complete liberation all at once, like Indrabhuti, like King Indrabhuti. So Indrabhuti is said to be an example of someone who was an instantaneous realizer. But Lord Jigten Sumgön says, in our own tradition, there are only those who develop in progressive stages. So all beings progress on the path. They go through the sequential stages of the path, step by step. It is only that some progress through the stages very quickly, and others progress at a slower level or slower pace. And so, for instance, in the example of King Indrabhuti, this is an example of one who progresses through the stages, but extremely quickly, very quickly, in such a way that it appears as though he is instantaneous, as though they're like an instantaneous realizer.
Oh, Kantarda. Chikchar tang rimjiwa son konaba de yi tang mandaba yor de tsama ke dongu tolon zomo tsuksa na de jigba cha de yore ngawa yo mari nganjor ning ma tang kaju tang juju kan ina yang dongu tolon ngawa yo mari Teri, teni ta tarang arang so, ta nyamnyong te jene, tela ninti win gongole, sonde, teni gom de ta tama karetoguri, sonde teri ndawa. Timba mato par wimba la nintin cha song. Ta ti nyamnyong te gom ke nyungwa de jen de tenda nyungwa de la timba top gogori song ta. Timba mato par de luin, nga win, sin win zon wimba som. Tene
Lu Win,
wimba nga wimba yi wimba ta wimba tin zon terwa ta te de timba thoma ta ku che de kawan jo go ri hyu ba ina ta garchin parchen ro chi jong yong du yang na nam do ro ji yong du ti nam do de ke churang go gom de la parche chi ma ta ba kap su churang timba thobi ris ta te ta ba churang na timba gom de la nyam nyong de la timba thoble ke che ge la lem na teni ta ta chi de chen khor yo ne win ba la ting go ta teni nga cha jo la so ba win ba le do po ke win ba la ting go ba ta yi nam to le pha nam to ka go ya ka jen ari ta nam to le mixa tor go ya no ke be chung go ya mi ba tra tho go ba te ting ba tho ma tho ke che de re teni nam to so ke yo ro go yo na ta rong sem de teni man thene gom go yo re gom bondong chi xiao da da chu ge la
so so in any case, with regard to this distinction between instantaneous realizers and those who progress in gradual stages, really there isn't the meaning is the same. It isn't as though, this view that there are, there is this potential to be an instantaneous realizer and that the view that actually no one is, that one only can progress in gradual stages, they aren't actually contradictory to one another. So both the Kagyu perspective or view and the perspective of the Nyingmapas, actually it is the same really in meaning. There isn't actually a contradiction there. So here then the emphasis, or that which is to be emphasized, is the continuation, the ongoing unbroken continuity of continual practice and meditation is what is to be emphasized, or what one should really apply oneself in. And so then the next line says, until you attain stability of your mind, emphasize on living in solitude, or give emphasis to be living in solitude. So that which creates the conditions that are conducive to developing stability are isolation, or practicing in a solitary way through establishing seclusion. And these are the three types of seclusion: seclusion of the body, physical seclusion, seclusion of speech by withdrawing the speech and not engaging very much in speech or ordinary chatter, and seclusion of the mind. And so until real stability is achieved, then one must always make an effort to nurture or establish these three types of seclusion. And the way to understand when one has reached a level that really is stable, or where one has really achieved stability, is that particularly adverse conditions or obstacles or discursive thoughts and afflictive emotions that would ordinarily create a hindrance in one's practice actually becomes inconsequential, and that whatever it is that arises, whatever adverse condition, whatever inner obstacles or outer obstacles do not affect one's practice at all, that one remains completely stable in the face of these seeming obstacles. And until that one has reached that level, then it is necessary to always nurture these types of solitude that were mentioned. And once one has reached a level of real stability, then there's effortless liberation. The discursive thoughts and emotions that arise in the mind stream are effortlessly and spontaneously liberated. And until it is that one has reached that point, then there has to be ongoing, continuous dedication to meditation. One has to continue to nurture one's practice in an ongoing way.
Tate tab gomba nyamnyong de junjong de tani ta kare yong yore hubaina tarati yiba de ndo chogu he chena rigba junba la nindin ja song ta chogu lam de sem de chulo la pan chon ro de wa chulo lan cho lam na ri so so ke mi pa ro chigla te de yu de per na me to ta be de gal mi pa te de de tini nam to yin ke sem de pa yin na thi ro yo pe na dran da ma da thu pa la dang de la so ba ti kap so ta rik pa chun zon ta te rik pa drum go le sing ke ti hine gom de talman na drum tin juk ba zo yo drum tin juk ba lu den juk ba da drum tin juk ba zo ni yo wa tin na ke drum tin juk ba de la song go yo re.
So then the next line says, or number 4, if excitement predominates the mind, emphasis should be given to controlling it, to control it. And so what is meant here by excitement, so sometimes this is a term that sometimes is also translated as like mental agitation, or in any case, it's sort of the mind having a tendency to wander or sort of dissipate and get caught up in other things. So the tendency of the mind to go outside or to slip out to other things other than one's object of focus. So for instance, when we are meditating on shamatha or calm abiding meditation, and we have a particular object of focus, our mind wants to rest on that, exclusively on the object of focus without following after other thoughts that might arise, without slipping out to other things, or without getting distracted. So for instance, if one is focusing on something like a flower as one's object, but then a sound arises and then the mind follows after that sound, or whatever phenomena that might arise, and the mind gets sort of slips out to that other object. Instead of the mind following after other objects, the mind stays single-pointedly on the object at hand. So that would be, what a really focused mind is. And so when there's excitement or agitation, the mind is not staying on its object of focus. And so in that case, then one wants to tighten the focus somewhat. So here, what the word that is being translated as control, one should control it. Emphasis should be put on controlling the mind. It can also be translated as sort of tightening or focusing, tightening the focus somewhat. So as it is said, in the practice of calm abiding, there are the instructions that are given for appropriately relaxing or loosening and appropriately tightening the focus according to what is needed. So finding the balance between tight and loose. So here, when excitement or agitation predominates, then it is important to tighten the focus, to put emphasis on tightening the focus somewhat.
Dan chogu hibande nderwa mambo na tsik tolan de he jagyundo tatenge nori hyopuko yomare yin yang chogu hibatela kwa chimbo yore gaere yorsina cho zon de sem de jitang pas chulo la pa ta de mikpa de la yong ba de rewa kandar mikpa te sa de ni pa mikpa de hyodo wa de cho rewa gu zon de ta de le che hanam nimbo ro tin du pe kal le la po tone nimbo de ke ma yom ta ba te ta ba samba de ngar hyuk chim bu tone de ni pa chulo ro chon ro wa de ro yang na cho hiba de sem yi wa
di yang cha tesa
taran chogu hiba de tarang ke chogu hiba de de mambo na Ndehe mambo na tsik dunda krema kalapan ndehe jab yazo mambo dos. Tene nge te tsama nord yore hyopugo yo mare, hyo rungu mare. Di ina yang chogu hibate la cho hibate gu hibate ni te sa manda bare. Cho hibate jirtang arang zu sem mikpa toni pa hyor yung bate ra, mikpa teksa teni pa la yung bate la cho osi. Gu zon ba kapso teni tela nimbo da wotsatina ya lamsang jom mata ba nimbo de lamsang chezo go ma yom mata ba de imba chani cho hiba de yinwa chawa rakpa re yinwa rakpa gu hiba de yinwa de chawa re de yinwa chawa jetang ngarang zo chawa da lawa ni rakpa ni rakpa te so le la ro yoretina tarang ngar panza pa pang yo bakapso nimbo tin pang de chawa de so le kable kapo yore pangwa ten za ten
So this word, which here is translated as excitement, is actually a compound word in Tibetan, which is trugu. And Khenpo is saying ordinarily, actually, this term is treated as though it is like one word. And he's not saying that there's actually anything wrong or mistaken about that. But personally, he feels that actually there should, that the two words that actually make up this one word, this compound word, have a very specific meanings. Like each of the syllables have very specific meanings in themselves, and that actually there are two aspects of what this is describing that are kind of unique and specific. So the first syllable of the word, which is true, is referring to, so that like literally actually means, it actually literally means like emanating out. And so what is referring to is that the focus gets lost when the focus slips out. It's referring to the slipping out of the focus. And then the gu, which is the second part of the word, is referring more to, and that could maybe, that's kind of, So anyway, that he said is referring to kind of the difficulty of pulling the mind back, the difficulty with regard to the functioning of the antidote. So when the antidote is not really working easily because the mind is dispersed or distracted, and so it isn't easily pulled back to its focus. There's sort of this error of the mind slipping out and being distracted is not easily corrected. And so that's what this term, which is often translated as excitement or agitation or sort of like mental like diffuseness and proliferation, there are these two kind of specific aspects or characteristics within this one term. And so actually the first syllable, the true, is referring, it's like actually the kind of referring to a coarser level of distraction. And then the gu, which is the second syllable, is referring to a more subtle type of like aspect of distraction. So the first syllable is kind of the coarse, and the second syllable is the subtle. And so coarse is always easier to identify and always easier to deal with. But the subtle is much more difficult to correct. It's more difficult to correct or apply the remedy to correct the subtle.
Jingmok Hechina Rigba, Earba Landin Jason. Dante Jigbar Jingmok Hibate Trogu Shebate Doso Jirchadore. Teni Jingwa Zondu Rabba, the Jingwa Laya, the Rabari, Hudukan Shuna Masarwa. Gomra Jan, the Mipa Texa de la Pate, and the Sarpo, Sala, Masala, Rojiora, Taven, Tevando, Del Jingwas. The name Muba, the Tian de Hiloga Jago, your Jingwa, the Mubani. Muba sent you the Tini Hiba Hajan Tepdaba. Tini Hajan Tepdra, and Tini Nishondoa, the Yoruba. Hajan Tepdana, Tini Nishondoa. They men are Tini Sapo Meba. O that data in Bachani. Tendrake Gomja du Kantar Jingmok Trachwaina, Rabat Trawakan Janchuaina, Tene Rigba Tatamu Rigba Yerba Hiba, the Tamwton, Riva Tambos and Sarboton, Haja Sarbok Tony Trachin Gongo Yoris.
So then the fifth says, if torpor and depression predominate, emphasis should be given to a little nap of mind in order to be active again. I'm sorry, I think I need to look at the Tibetan here. I think I'm on the wrong, I don't have this. So Rikpa Yerpa Sena, Tisana did a guy in a chunky this selchala, Tessa Shuk Chimpozo go soon, your marebe. So Yerpa Gidunda Gare Yore, guy in a congi, and she can nangla, didn't Tessa Nigo Garela Yore.
Nigo Yore.
Yeah, Tenda Chido and Chikela, they take a little nap, La Yorewa.
Then the kid
Norio Sarawa.
Norio Mare, then Norio Nata to two, to two young Madamato, Neta Chidanam Juni, Lamdo, the ko tin dang de la mambo yore ma shiban tayum bagabsa teni tulo trab ton ya tang te shine ka thamla na chapsang yore pen na sipo temtep chado yo na go da ge khong so ga chayo ya se ya tang o de na yin ke teni sama to so shuk chim bom za ya to so menga mambo yo na ya ta tara ne tara gong che nda khe ja so chi te to la jo yan pa chen den ro.
Oh, that's all. Okay. So in any case, it's fine the way it's written here, but the way that Khenpo described it, he's emphasizing a little bit differently. But in any case, so this, again, what is being referred to here is torpor and depression, but actually, I think more often it is a term that is translated as something along the lines of sloth and torpor. So again, this is a compound word in Tibetan, and there are the specific kind of aspects that each of the words in the one word are referring to. And so the first is, which is often translated as a sloth, is the more kind of coarse, and that is the mind not becoming unclear. So it's the loss of kind of the clarity of awareness. And so when meditating, if in meditation, then the mind becomes kind of foggy or a little bit dense and heavy. There's sort of like a mental darkness that creeps in, a sort of a torpor, a sort of sloth, sort of a slothfulness. And then the second term, which is mukha, is more like a mental darkness, or really it's actually like when the awareness becomes really heavy, so much so that it's like one is about to fall into sleep, or one may in fact fall into sleep. So it's sort of like a sleepiness. So that's the what is usually translated as torpor. And so in any case, it is this state of mind is when the mind is lacking clarity. It is lacking real sort of a vivid or the clarity aspect of, strong awareness. So it isn't very clear. And at that time, then it is important to sort of brighten the clarity of the mind, to put emphasis on the kind of invigorating or energizing the awareness in such a way so that it clarifies or brightens. So he said also there are a lot of antidotes to these faults that are also described in other, that are often referred to, such as, taking if, for instance, one has a great deal of sloth and torpor in the meditation, to wear lighter clothes, to not eat very heavy foods, to eat very light meals, and there are a lot of different ways in which one can emphasize the brightness of the awareness or the clarity aspect.
Chimok zo de teni mupa de teni tama ni le khor gom tama ni ke nandin sonre gom ja de hula de gom tama cha de ni nandin de ni khondor la song do den de ni go ya ke ma da ko ni ke yo re de ni de la yan ja ni yan de ke yo samarwa ye pa la ya de nan de ke jap sona des.
Oh, that's so okay. So it does actually, this term that was translated here as taking a little nap is actually correct. I wasn't familiar with that word, but here the instruction is such that if there is, strong torpor arising, and then one is often, it can be the case that one's struggling against the torpor and trying to brighten the mind, and then this happens, several times, but then finally the mind succumbs to the torpor and one actually sort of nods off or falls asleep or takes a little nap. And sometimes that alone is sufficient enough, because then once one has fallen asleep, and one sort of takes a little nap, but then comes to again, and then the sleepiness has been cleared away. So that itself can also be very effective.
Ni gore pachang la o tema santa ina ya tere ta hinge tablam tin gore la basar cha mambo te go ge konsea tang to lo tra ton ya tang teni to so ge mapina teni gom de chuk ja ne yang jang ya yo mari son yo nga so hine tablan na teni ko ne kam cham jo tra chi gore is
So if, for instance, one if all of these different antidotes hasn't really worked, such as wearing lighter clothing, eating very light food, and trying to brighten the awareness, if this isn't working, then it also isn't really beneficial to force it, because it's a very when practicing meditation, it is important not to strive too much to really force anything, and so it's better than not to force it if these counter approaches aren't working. And so then if you fall asleep, so actually he said he isn't saying that that you should just fall asleep in meditation, but if you naturally fall asleep, then there isn't really anything that you can do about it.
Oh yeah, teni da tukpate lo matin part nyam yalan ni ja la
teni de yige nangla teni nune norio sare kain sena ni go gando triyorwa nap chirang hako yo sarawa
ye nor jamare ye na ta kare lavo na dai de yore
Inchikela, okay.
Dai de yore
yeah
dai de yore nga inji na ta ja chong ma sant dai de yore teni da
that's all
tukpate lo matin part nyam yalan ni tin cha so teni da lo matin part nyam yalan ni tin cha so de cheta da ngaran so nyam ya dan jitop sen lago yorwa tin du tangbo de la nyam ya number mo to ba so ta mi ba chik la te ne gom ja de la meeting da je ba da meeting mi ba ke kare yin ya ko nyam ya la da ni tin cha go yore se lo ma tin pa de son de ta chi ba re ta hi ko na de la chi so la chi jin ra ma ran ten de te sem yo ma ro wa yo ma ne ba tan da ke che ye la ma la pa de de ni nyam ya la ni tin cha go re so
bom ta te sa yang te sum no
la ta tukpa te wa tukpa te ta lo ma tin part nyam ya la nin tin cha son re ta lo te ma tin part de ta kantar yige na kare sum yo re ba na nyam ya ke tin ba ma to part son teni ko nyam ya ngang de lo tin ma tin ke che te ngang hyu ke tin na ma nyam ya la ne to ba ta tela ko yorba te pardu teni je suso ke beba da zowa hala magu patone je nganga hyu ke ne to batela nyam ya yorba ne sa jila o te pardu teni be zong ji go yoris te tena ke che de mazo part.
So then the 6 Okay, so the 6 says, until the mind is stable, emphasis should be given to contemplation. So I would not translate that term as contemplation. The word is nyamja, which is usually meditative absorption. So until it is stable, until there is stability, emphasis or should be given to the meditative absorption, meaning that, and the way to know, or that one should apply oneself in establishing meditative absorption. The way to know that stability has been achieved is when there is really no difference between meditative absorption and post-meditation. When the awareness is sustained effortlessly with stability throughout both the periods of meditation and post-meditation. And until that point, then it is necessary to actually apply oneself in the meditation, in the establishing meditative absorption, whether one is using an object of focus or if one is meditating in such a way that that is free of any specific object of focus. But then until one gets to the point where meditative absorption is effortless and sustained, then one has to still apply oneself in the periods of meditation.
Alright, then take a look at the ngapa jingdua.
Yeah.
Ngapa the chick the engine and ni goes jordo sonswa. Jertan Jimok Mukba the Heche and the Koran Ying ni Royorwa. Tell a mixak ni gori lago yo marwa, Koran Yini in Koyori. Then it take Jetawa Yin Jebaina. Jimok Hechena Rigba Earbala Nintin Jas on the Watini. Jimo yu yin the tini pe ni le nintin jasim ni jutel betsun chismaro qua chad made churan qualante redwe.
Denda now nangshin tito in Chikela. Tessa ni go get a lacure, Tessa Nina, the young char, the simso bochagre needs our name, Denda tito.
Ten the you Richard ni jute mandabake yogu mare koran yin ni huba. Ina call nintin jas on the Nijula nintin chigol on the Nimbo getting Mogoland or Chad Mother Hesams. Take Tony in a tonda told Pachan Norio Marisams or Tarati Unjitas or Norjamari. Tablan Ganda kind of Tin Chorava in the.
So Nintin Gary Nintin the sicting Hakogamento in Bukela Yerba.
Yerba la the chuk nia la jordo la so ni puke na kwa venata nia la ni tin chi gorism like you do hard work for sleeping. That which is take literally translate like that. Tanda chad mude.
Tenda test draw chadu.
Oh yeah. That the pache that in Tessa Yana Yamuna that the suit mambo hondwa.
Okay, sorry. So we went back to discussing number 5 with the kind of it's a little bit unclear as to whether like what is this translation here of taking a little nap in order for the mind to be active again. But anyway, he started to sort of discuss it, but then said, let's just leave it because we don't have a ton of time. So we just go right along.
Tenida dembate. Nyam ya latine jitob la nintin jaso. Tangaso nyam ya galapa nganga kyukyoke mikpatel tola panne taba. Tan nyam ya de lang chegi mambo yorwa. Jirdang ngarang so je gong ke kantar sanje ke sapar de nyam ya de yo de bare. Yin za da dara jirdang ngarang so ke nyam ya de hiendu tene ta nyam ya de lo so so ke timba thona tene yang nyam ya de jun bone so na yang jun yore. Per na zumi ke nangkha thaye ke kimchi yowa the zumi kimchi me yonang ke ta te da nangkha thaye chekrang tol teni ko ne cheng ma che so ina yang jung yong ge yore kan sin te tharthok ke trouble lam te cha yo mare ba tharthok ke trouble lam te cha mi chang teni 다 yang ko tartok ke top zan ro main zang nyam yal tin yang jitop dang go yo ro song re jitop la ta jitop la char dang da gomba ram den ta song ke chepa yong ko yo sa re ta char dang hira hil ma re te ina ya ta chen nyam ya number ma do ba nga la ne du be ya bo ne top de na tel char dang yong ba kap so jitop la se ma ta bak ka nga jitop la se ndu se ma ta ndu yang tamar para ying char cha yong ko hipa sam no dong dang kunju kurdang chama ko tamar parang char cha yang ko nyam ya ne di ya bo ma yong ya tan da ro yong ko sa ro te za ko nyam ya la ne nyam ya number ma to ba ga na ne ndu teni char dang ndu teni chu tham je la juma da malam ta thong to ba nang zam le rang yin je ma to ba tada thola lo jang te re ndu teni ko rang yin ke din jing ken zen ba tham je hek to ba tan da yong ko ri sung do
So with regard to stabilizing the meditative absorption or the periods of meditation, it's also one who wants to continue to so emphasize the periods of meditative absorption in such a way that one is really making effort in establishing a stable meditative absorption. But also there can be a fault of staying in meditative absorption for too long. If one stays in meditative absorption without ever engaging in the post-meditation, then there's a potential that this can lead to the faults of generating the meditative states of the four formless absorptions, such as the meditative absorption of limitless space and so on. And so if one's meditation sort of goes astray in that manner, then there's a great fault that arises in such a way that actually one's meditation then doesn't result in liberation and the result of actually achieving liberation. It results, in fact, in taking rebirth in the formless realms. And so it is important to also engage with the post-meditation. And when stability is achieved, there are different levels of stability that can be identified in the post-meditation according to like the sort of supreme, middling, and lesser levels of achievement. But essentially, if stability is not really developed, then the result is that when one rises out of meditation, no matter how deep or profound one's experience of meditative absorption may be, one rises from the meditation and kind of goes back to becoming a normal, ordinary being. Everything sort of goes back to the same type of experience of grasping and identifying oneself as ordinary, or identifying experience as real and truly existent, and oneself as just an ordinary being with the same sort of grasping at thoughts and the identification of, with the thoughts and the emotions and so forth. But when stability starts to develop, when one has reached some level of stability, then when one rises from the meditative absorption and the post-meditation, one is able to see all that appears, or all phenomena, as illusory and dreamlike. One is able to maintain this view in the midst of experience in which one recognizes its lack of intrinsic inherent nature or real existence. And so this is a sign that the grasping at true existence, or the fixation to true existence, is is diminishing. So this becomes apparent in the post meditation as well.
다 치즈 쭉쭉 받아 장야로.
So we can take a break here then until 11 Arizona time.
May every being ailing with disease be freed at once from every malady. May all the sickness that afflicts the living be instantly and permanently healed. O zumjene ba jenye ba nyurde ne le tarjer jen robe ne na mala tade jongwa me ba jo bama zumjen danje de dan denjer jen ro tamje da de don wa Chanju zamba ganda zajo ba de da gunje molan ba jo janjo sunjo rambo je ma je ba na je ba nyam ba me ba ye gong de be wa jo. Thank you very much.